amazing Australians and the story of their lives. You're tuned to Lots to Chat About with Rosemary Peterswald.
Hello and welcome, listeners. Imagine a once shy city nurse who marries and goes on to have 8 children, and her husband comes home and tells her he has bought a pub in the outback town of Charleville, and she and the family will move there. What's more, she will run the pub as he continues with his day job as a pharmacist. That's exactly what happened to Frances Harding. What's more, Frances and her husband Gordon then bought the opulent pub spanning the length of the block across the road, the iconic Corones pub, started by Greek migrants Harry and Jimmy Corones back in the 1920s. Fran has written 2 books, The Accidental Publican and The Accidental Australians. Welcome, Fran.
Thank you, Rosemary.
Now, Fran, tell us a little bit about where you started your life. Where did you grow up? Were you a country girl or were you a city girl?
No, I really am very much a country girl, Rosemary. I was born in Stanthorpe.
Right.
And I spent a lot of my youth and teenage years in the little town of Stanthorpe, which is unrecognisable now when I go back there.
It's grown, hasn't it? Yes.
It's grown, yes.
Enormously.
Yes.
So where did you and Gordon sort of start your married life?
We started our married life in Longreach.
Oh, right. Yes, I've been there.
Yes, and so we spent a lot of our life in Western Queensland in various towns before we came to Charleville in 1984.
Right. You and Gordon went on to have 8 children.
We did.
Were they all born in Longreach, Fran?
No, the first boy, I have 6 boys and 2 girls. The first boy was born in Longreach, and the 4th boy was born in Longreach. The second boy was born in Emerald.
Oh, right.
Yes, and all the other children were born in Brisbane.
Oh, okay. I flew into Longreach last year, actually, with my friend Sally Ann Atkinson, who's on the board of the Winton Film Festival.
Yes.
And I went to the Qantas Museum, which is wonderful there, and then, of course, up to Winton. But from Longreach, if I'm correct, you went to Roma, is that right?
Yes, we spent time in both those towns anyway.
Right.
Yes, and our second son was born in Emerald.
Right. So now tell me, why a pub? Because obviously your husband was a pharmacist.
Yes.
And, I know it was a sort of different time back then, and women tended to sort of do what the husband's job required them to do. I went to Papua New Guinea because my husband was in the army without sort of questioning it. These days, of course, women question it a little bit more. But back in those days, you did what, Gordon said. We've bought a pub. Let's go run it. So exactly what you did.
That's so very true. And I had this conversation with a group of people just recently. I said that to them, that it probably might be hard for younger people to understand now that when I was married, the husband made the decisions. And you just fitted in with whatever his decision happened to be. There was no room for disagreement. So I did disagree with the idea of going into a hotel, and that happened very early in our marriage when we were in Roma. There was a hotel for sale, and we had just opened a pharmacy there, and Gordon expressed his interest in perhaps one day moving to a hotel. And I made the very foolish remark, well, that's never going to happen, Gordon, because that's not conducive to family life. And after I only had 1 child when I said that, and then I went on to have 7 more, and that's exactly what I did.
Isn't that extraordinary? Now, the first pub that you ran when you got to Charleville, of course, was the Sportsman. And Gordon said to you, well, now you are behind the bar and you've got to, to run the place. But How old
Yeah.
were the children at that stage? And I mean, where did you all live? Did you all live in the Sportsman's Hotel? Or yeah,
Yes, we did. I had a baby 8 months before we went to Charleville, my sixth son, and the younger children and I lived in the hotel. The oldest boy by this stage was at university, and a couple of the boys were at boarding school,
right,
but the rest of us lived above the bar in the hotel. A
right.
very run-down place that was very much a challenge, the living quarters, apart from the rest of the lifestyle.
Right. Actually, a friend of mine in Tasmania, actually, where I lived for many, many, many years, her parents ran a hotel up in the north. I think it was Devonport, and she said they grew up in a hotel, but she loved it. She said she used to go down and sit and chat to all the men out the back who were having their beers and whatever. But
Yeah.
it's well, to say it's a different life, isn't it? There's absolutely no doubt about that. Now, I believe you had your sewing machine behind the bar.
I did have the sewing machine. Yes, there were times when it was very quiet in the bar, and that certainly happened at the end of the first 12 months when this entrepreneur that I was married to decided that he was going to give up his job as the pharmacist at the hospital and take the plunge and buy the hotel that was across the road from us, the legendary Hotel Corones.
Yes.
And anyone will tell you that the new publican in town is the best entertainment anyone can have. So the fact that we were now the new owners of the Hotel Corones,
Yes.
all my customers deserted me
Yes.
and went across the street to the Hotel Corones to see what was happening
Oh,
there.
so
So
you still held on to the Sportsman even though you had the Corones.
well, we did because we had a 3-year lease of the Sportsman,
Right.
and we'd only completed 12 months of that lease. So that's when I got the sewing machine out, and I would sit behind the bar between customers and sew, make pajamas for the kids, and do
Right.
that sort of thing.
I
Yeah,
mean, the
yeah.
Coronas pub, I mean, I've looked at photographs of it and I've looked at the history. I mean, amazingly enough, we had Andrew Corones, who's got a huge real estate business here, but it's a different spelling to the Coronas. But of course, they all come from the small island of Kythera in Greece. So
They
I
do.
would
Yeah,
imagine they probably
yeah.
were the same family to start with. But what an
Mm.
enterprising couple of men it was who started that back in the 1920s.
It was extraordinary. It will have its 100-year anniversary this year in 29. And I'm very much hoping, Rosemary, that I'm going to be able to be present in Charleville for that because
Yes.
that'll be quite an extraordinary moment in time because the hotel is still very, very important to the community. And of course, the history is extraordinarily important to the district.
It's an extraordinary building to build back there in the 1920s. I mean, for our listeners, it's I can tell you it takes up the entire block.
The
And
entire
it
block,
looks like,
yes.
well, it does look a bit like the Taj Mahal, doesn't it?
Yes, indeed. And it must, in its heyday, have been so, so beautiful and so extraordinary to think that a building like this and the services that they offered were happening in a little town in Western Queensland, so far from the capital.
It's extraordinary. It was very, very opulent. And of
Yeah.
course, it had many very opulent visitors, didn't it? It had royalty that came to stay.
Yes, yes. The Duke and Duchess of Gloucester stayed. They had come out to Charleville to open a memorial to a young Englishman who died in at the airport
Right.
when that had become a very strategic base
Yes.
when the Pacific War began. Over the years, many people have stayed, from Gough Whitlam to Johnny O'Keefe.
Right, right.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
Now, you're listening to Lots to Chat About. I'm Rosemary Peterswald. My guest today is Frances Harding, who has written 2 books about her life running pubs in the outback. What was it like, Fran, when it looks, as I say, from the outside, it looks very, very opulent, but I gather it was a different kettle of fish when you actually went there and started to run it as a pub. It had been let run down quite a bit, hadn't it?
It had been from the time that Harry Corones, who affectionately became known as Popper, and that's all anyone ever refers to him as these days, Popper Corones, from the time he died, the hotel was leased for about 10 years. And during that time, things were slipping while he was still alive. He wasn't able to compete with the change in times, the change in needs.
Yes.
The wool industry was ending its
A pound a pound. No longer a pound a
yes,
pound. Yes.
that's right. And the people who were the patrons of the hotel in those days, they would just come and stay for weeks at a time. If there was something that they wanted to celebrate in town, they'd just come in and they'd have a room, they'd stay there, have all their meals. And of course, those days had well and truly gone by the time we took over the hotel.
Yes.
And it was, I always refer to it as an aging socialite.
Right, right.
Yes, yes.
So how did you go about redecorating? I mean,
Well,
the Charleville
yes.
is not, I can't imagine, is known for its sort of interior decorating shops and whatever there. How did you possibly start?
No, you're right. You're right there. We just tried very, very slowly to do a few things because we were very, very committed to the Commonwealth Bank. We didn't have any money really for renovation,
Yes.
so we just had to do the really basic things for a start. And one of them was to pull the floral orange wallpaper off the walls in what had been a beautiful foyer with a marble tiled floor. And during the years the hotel was leased, somebody had put this in the 70s. It was a very
Yes.
orange and mission brown time, the
Oh,
70s.
as it was, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of the lovely pieces of silky oak and Queensland oak furniture had been painted. And the staircase is magnificent, a beautiful silky oak staircase that leads from the foyer to the upstairs rooms. And in the 70s, that was covered with a very ugly high-low pile carpet that by this time we took over was very, very grubby.
Right. Had
So
it been leased out to a corporation or to a single, to an
no,
old
just
family?
to individuals,
Right.
and with varying degrees of success.
Yes.
So it was pretty much, down on its knees when we took over. And I don't know what would have happened. It would have been a very, very, very slow progress of our trying to do some renovation and restoration. But we then had the enormous boost of the opening of the Hall of Fame,
Oh,
the
right.
year of the bicentenary.
Yes.
And that really did help because people then were going out to Longreach, and there wouldn't have been many people travelling
Yeah.
to Longreach for pleasure before that.
Yes.
The fact that they had made that trip out to Longreach, some of them found their way down the track to the other little towns on the way, and so we were getting a little bit of help from visitors, but probably the biggest boost, which is really extraordinary to us, came through the town nearly being destroyed by flood in 1990.
Right. Yes, we'll come to that. Just tell me first, before we do get to that, Fran, how many rooms are in the Corones?
Yeah, 39 rooms.
Wow. So, I mean,
39
it is
rooms.
a big pub. And is the staircase still there?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I
Yes,
mean, is it heritage listed, do you think?
yes, we did that during our time.
Right.
I do wonder if how that is being looked at these days, because the hotel is now looking very tired
Is
again.
it? And has the corporation taken it over now, or is it?
They have.
Yes.
Yes, it's a
Yeah. That
corporation now.
sadly
Yes.
that does happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, you spent all that time, and you did do it up, and you spent a lot of money and a lot of effort, and whatever went into it. But as you say, then, unfortunately, the huge floods of the 1990s came, and I mean, you tell an incredible story about how, I mean, it just, you got totally flooded out. But Gordon went back to sort of try and rescue a few things, and of course he got arrested himself.
Yeah. Yes. But the happy ending to that little bit of the story, Rosemary, is that he was returned to the airport where most of the town had been evacuated to, and we're just lying there on mattresses on the cold floor with the fluorescent lights beaming over us. And he happened to be on a mattress next to the Commonwealth Bank manager.
Right.
And he said it was a terrible night because the bank manager snored all night, and he was awake all night wondering how we were ever going to recover financially from the fact that the hotel had the lower floor had gone completely underwater, including the 10 motel rooms that
Right.
we had opened in 1989, just before the flood hit.
Were you insured, Fran?
No, and we'd hardly had a body on a bed in
Right.
those motel rooms because we opened them over the Christmas period, and of course it's so hot then,
Yes.
nobody's traveling out west in the heat. But the bank manager must have remembered at some stage when he turned over that he had somebody beside him who was sleepless, and he contacted Gordon just a few days after the flood. They'd lost all their records, the Commonwealth Bank, and
Right.
he asked could Gordon accommodate some of the staff that were coming out from Brisbane
Yes.
to help them.
So that was a bit of
And
a godsend.
and it was an absolute godsend. And so Gordon, as he can do when he's faced with a crisis, he got the motel rooms all cleaned out of the mud that had gathered in them, shampooed the carpets and dried them off. The air conditioners were still working,
Right.
and he was able to bring the Commonwealth Bank officers out, and they stayed with us for the next couple of months, actually. So
Right.
that was enormously helpful. And then all the tradesmen that came to town, because we'd had such publicity for the flood,
Yes.
people knew that there'd be work,
All
and they
right.
came
Yes.
to fill the gaps.
But what did
And
you
we were
think, Fran?
very fortunate.
What did you
Sorry.
think when you looked and you thought, God, where do I start again? I mean, the enormity of it must have
Absolutely.
been horrendous.
Absolutely. I took off with the
I'm
children
not
who were there
surprised. Yeah.
because Gordon said, well, there's no point in staying here. We've got no power. We don't know what we're going to do. Best if you go back to Brisbane. We had kept our home in Brisbane, and
Right.
that's where the older children were living by this stage, because a couple of them had gone to university by now. And the others that were there, I remember we had 6 in the car. So we were illegally traveling, but we got as far as Roma, and the police pulled me over and said, lady, you got too many passengers. And I told him that we'd come from Charleville,
Yes.
and he let me go.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, as I say, the enormity of starting over again. How long after the floods did you hold on and run the hotel for?
1990, and we sold in 2001.
Right. So obviously you've done it up again. And have there been any other floods that have inundated
Since we left, there've been they did do a lot of flood mitigation of
Right.
the town, and that has prevented the town from suffering from any serious flooding.
Right.
But yes, we just slowly after the flood, and with the help of these wonderful tradesmen who came to us, a Serb and a Croatian.
Yes.
I could write a book about the two of those as well. But they completely rebuilt that magnificent staircase. They did up a lot of the furniture. They were just extraordinary, these two men.
Yes.
And so we were helped with our restoration program by having these people. And then by that stage, Rosemary, I'd become so immersed in the story
Yes.
of these two men who'd come with nothing, and what they'd done, the hotel that they'd built, the clientele that they'd established, that I started talking to
Sorry,
these.
Fran. We're talking now about the Corones, not about the workmen. We're talking about
No, no, no. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'm talking about Harry and
Yeah,
Harry
back in the
and Jimmy.
1920s. Yes.
Yes, that's right. I started talking to people who were visiting the hotel about this amazing story that I had discovered.
Yes.
And I was amazed in turn that people were just so engrossed in the story. They loved it. They wanted as much as I could tell them. They wanted more. And so
Absolutely.
that prompted me to begin a tour of the hotel.
Oh, right. Right. Right.
And so for several years, I had a tour. It was officially 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes.
It was $10, Rosemary, for 2 hours, and afternoon tea included. So it was
Oh,
very, very, very good value.
high tea.
But it was so successful. I was amazed at the success that I was getting for the tour,
It's
and
it's
yes,
a wonderful one. Why did they choose Charleville to build the
they
pub? I mean,
chose
to build the
Charleville.
Taj Mahal. Why did they choose Charleville to build
Well,
the Taj
they
Mahal?
they were at heart, although they were men who probably hadn't had much education in their own country, they were extraordinarily gifted with entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And they came to Brisbane first of all from Sydney,
Right.
and they became part of the Greek community. There was a
Yes.
very, very strong Catherian Greek community in Brisbane at the turn of the century, the
Right.
strongest in Australia, people said.
Yes.
And these people in the Greek community, they helped one another. And so these two young men were given the opportunity. The railway had extended to Charleville, and they
All
a
right.
lot of the Greeks followed the railway line.
Right. Right.
And so they were told that they could come to Charleville and they could run a cafe in Charleville.
There were many milk
And
bars, weren't there? Greek milk bars
yes, the Greek milk
around.
bars, and they'd worked in one of those in
Fruit
Brisbane for
shops. Mm.
for a period of time. So they'd had experience, and then they just the community put them on the train
Yes.
and said, "You're going to Charleville." They didn't even know where Charleville was.
Right. And they came
Yeah.
up with the idea of building this incredible.
And yes, well, Harry must have been an extraordinary person, and he was very quickly offered the lease of a hotel in the town. They were running the cafe,
Right.
and they must have impressed people so much
Yes.
with their work ethic, their diligence,
Yes.
that they were offered the lease of a hotel in the town called
Right.
the Hotel Charleville. And he became the first Greek in Australia to hold a hotel license in the town of Charleville in 1912.
Wow. What an incredible story. And Fran, I mean, your books that you have written, are they by any chance on audio?
No, I'm thinking that I should explore that, Rosemary, because particularly for older people, that's quite a
Well, it is. Yeah.
yes,
It's for
a
older
good
people.
way
Yep.
of getting a story, isn't it?
It is, but many of our listeners, as you're probably aware, are sight impaired. So audio, not all of them, but audio books are a terrific. But even my husband, I must admit now, he listens more to audio than he actually does reading books. So it would be terrific. But I mean, apart from the books, it's just been, now it's just been wonderful to be able to hear your story, but also the Accidental Publicans, who are Harry and Jim Corones. So I'll tell we are running out of time, Fran, or in fact we have run out of time. So I'm just going to give our listeners your webpage, if that's okay, which is www.francisharding, Harding, author.com. And your books, Fran, they're available in bookstores or online, is that the case?
They're available, yes, online through PayPal. Most people seem to buy the book through PayPal.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, well, it's just been such a lovely half hour or so to be able to chat to you about this incredible history and about the incredible Harry and Jimmy Corones, but also about you and your husband who took on such an incredible venture and lived to tell the tale. And I hope you do go back for the centenary. When is it? 2029.
29, yes. It took 5 years to build the hotel.
Yes.
24 to 29.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on our show. Again, it is www.francishardingauthor.com. And thank you very, very much. Your books are called The Accidental Publican and The Accidental Australians. It's
thank
just
you,
those
Rosemary.
two. But thank you, Francis, and thank you, Sparrow, for producing. And this program has been produced in the studios of 4RPH Reading Radio in Brisbane for syndication around Australia, and will be available on my YouTube channel, Lots to Chat About, with Rosemary Peterswald.
Great friends and great chats. That was another Lots to Chat About with Rosemary Peterswald. Stay tuned next week for another amazing chat.